The Kuki and Meitei communities have distinct lifestyles, cultures, histories, traditions, and beliefs. The Meitei primarily reside in the Imphal Valley, while the Kukis inhabit the surrounding hills of the Imphal Valley, other parts of northeast India, the Chittagong Hills of Bangladesh, and western Myanmar, including the Chin Hills. Religiously, the Meitei are Hindus, whereas the Kukis are Christians. In India, the Kukis are classified under the Scheduled Tribe List, a status not granted to the Meitei. Historically, the Meitei were subdued by the British in 1891 during the Battle of Kongjam, while the Kukis faced British subjugation much later, between 1917 and 1919, during the Anglo-Kuki War, also known as the Kuki Rebellion. Manipur attained statehood under India in 1972. Meanwhile, the Kukis and other tribal groups in Manipur were granted autonomy under Article 371C of the Indian Constitution before Manipur attained statehood. This provision created 6 autonomous district councils in the hills of Manipur for hill tribes. The Meitei commemorate the Battle of Kongjam of 1891 as the Anglo-Manipur War. In contrast, the Kukis celebrate the Anglo-Kuki War of 1917–1919, or the Kuki Rising. However, the Meitei-led Manipur government has not supported the Kuki celebration of the Anglo-Kuki War, viewing it as an attempt to exaggerate history. The Kukis, in response, argue that the Meitei and other tribal communities downplay their historical achievements and glory. In this video, we will explore both the Anglo-Kuki War and the Anglo-Manipur War. Using British archives, we will analyze which conflict holds greater significance and impact. Here is a detailed explanation about the Anglo-Kuki War and the Anglo-Manipur War, using both the historical context and information from the attached maps. Anglo-Kuki War 1917–1919. The Anglo-Kuki War, also referred to as the Kuki Rebellion, was a large-scale insurrection by the Kuki tribes against the British colonial authorities between 1917 and 1919. It took place predominantly in the hill regions of Manipur and adjacent areas inhabited by the Kuki people. Cause: the primary reason for the conflict was opposition to the British colonial demand for forced labor through recruitment of Kukis into the labor corps during World War I. Other causes included resentment over colonial interference in traditional governance, high taxation, and disruption of social structure. Duration: the rebellion lasted nearly 2 years, with widespread resistance and guerrilla warfare waged by several Kuki chiefs and their followers. Extent: the maps you attached, images 1 and 3, show the broad geographic distribution of the conflict. Key routes, villages, and military operations spread across present-day Manipur, Nagaland, Assam, and parts of present-day Mizoram and Myanmar, attesting to the substantial area covered by the resistance, cited from attached image. 1. Forces and casualties. British forces deployed included Assam Rifles, Burma Military Police, and other regiments. Official records cite at least 60 British killed, over 140 wounded, nearly 400 laborers lost to disease, and significant Kuki casualties and destruction of over 100 villages. Outcome: the revolt was eventually suppressed and the Kukis disarmed, but it led to changes in colonial policy and had a long-term impact on relations between the British and the Kuki tribes. Anglo-Manipur War 1891. The Anglo-Manipur War was a relatively brief but significant event in the history of Manipur. It unfolded between March and April 1891. The war was sparked by a power struggle within the Manipur royal family, leading to a palace coup and execution of British officials by Manipuri princes. The British saw this as a challenge to their authority in the region and responded with military force. Duration and scope. Unlike the protracted Kuki Rebellion, the Anglo-Manipur War lasted less than a month. The main theaters of conflict were Imphal, Thubal, and other surrounding regions, as seen in the attached map, image 2, which marks the key battlefields and British camp locations, cited from attached image. 2. Forces and casualties. British forces swiftly defeated the Manipuri defenders. Most accounts mention a smaller number of total casualties compared to the Kuki War, focused mainly among the Manipuri military and royal guards. Outcome: the British annexed Manipur, executed the war leaders, and installed a puppet ruler, bringing Manipur under closer colonial control. Geographic context from maps. The maps provided visually illustrate the larger geographic scale of the Anglo-Kuki War, showing numerous villages and routes affected across a broader region, cited from attached image. 1. In contrast, the Anglo-Manipur War map shows the concentration of military action around central Manipur, underscoring the more limited geographic footprint of that conflict, cited from attached image. 2. Summary table. Comparison. These details show that both wars were crucial in shaping the region's colonial history, but the Anglo-Kuki War was broader in scale, duration, and regional impact, cited from attached image.
Is a sketch map detailing the area of operations during the Kuki Rebellion 1917-19. The map shows the movements of the Assam Rifles and the Burma Military Police Forces. The map shows the Kuki Rebellion, which took place in northeastern India and Burma between 1917 and 1919. It highlights the routes of the Assam Rifles and the Burma Military Police. The map also indicates places where fighting occurred and the locations of roads and rivers in the area. The conflict, also known as the Kuki Rising, involved fighting in the hills around the Imphal Plain.
Historical maps and images related to the conflict. Archives and libraries. Major archives like the British Library or the National Archives of India may hold historical maps related to the British Raj's campaigns in the region. Military history books on the Anglo-Manipur War may contain or reference maps showing troop movements and battle plans. Searching library catalogs for titles on the 1891 war could provide leads.
The Anglo-Kuki War, 1917-1919, was a larger and longer conflict compared to the Anglo-Manipur War, 1891, in terms of duration, scale, casualties, and impact on the local communities. Duration and scale. Anglo-Kuki War lasted about 3 years, 1917-1919, involving widespread guerrilla tactics by the Kuki tribes against British colonial forces across the Kuki-inhabited hill areas of Manipur. Anglo-Manipur War was much shorter, lasting less than a month in 1891, centered around a palace coup and subsequent British punitive expedition in the Manipur Kingdom. Casualties and damage. Anglo-Kuki War had significant casualties. About 60 British dead, 142 wounded, almost 400 transport coolies died of disease, 120 Kukis killed, and 126 Kuki villages burned along with destruction of livestock and food stocks. Anglo-Manipur War had fewer British casualties recorded, 4 killed, 15 wounded with over 128 Manipuri men lost in battle, but less documented damage to villages or livestock. Causes and context. Anglo-Kuki War was sparked by Kuki refusal to participate in forced labor recruitment during World War I and was part of a broader resistance to British intrusion, oppressive taxation, and interference in local governance. Anglo-Manipur War resulted from a palace coup and British objection to the ousting of the reigning king and execution of British officials, leading to a swift British military response. Outcomes. Anglo-Kuki War ended with British suppression of the rebellion but forced changes in colonial administrative policies. Kukis were further divided geographically and politically. Anglo-Manipur War ended with British victory, installation of a compliant ruler, and direct British governance of Manipur as a princely state until 1947. Overall, the Anglo-Kuki War was greater in terms of its prolonged duration, wider geographical spread, higher casualties, extensive property destruction, and lasting impact on the Kuki people compared to the comparatively brief Anglo-Manipur War.
Thank you for watching this video. Subscribe, like, and share, as a video conclusion commentary. Thank you so much for watching this video. Your support means the world to me. If you enjoyed the content, please take a moment to hit that like button and share this video with your friends and family. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications so you never miss an update. Your engagement really helps the channel grow and motivates me to keep creating more valuable videos for you. If you have any questions or thoughts, please leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks again for being here, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.